Hey everyone, welcome back to Iraqi Dinar Hub today. We're diving into something that could totally change how you see Iraq's economy and the dinar. That's right, we're breaking down the real story behind Iraq's revaluation plan step by step. For years, there have been rumors, hype, and endless debates about whether the dinar would ever rise in value. Some folks laughed it off, others held their breath waiting for that big moment. But what most people don't realize is that there's actually a structured behind-the-scenes plan already in motion. By the end of this video, you'll see exactly what's going on. What the central bank is quietly doing, and why experts are now saying this might not be just talk anymore. If you've ever wanted a clear, no-fluff look at Iraq's revaluation process, stick around because we're going deep today. The first thing you've got to understand is this. Iraq isn't rushing into anything. The revaluation of the dinar isn't a push-button event. It's a carefully timed strategy years in the making. Most people only focus on what the new rate could be, but that's really just the surface. Underneath, Iraq has been laying out a foundation of banking reforms, currency stability, gold management, and digital modernization. The country knows that if the system isn't strong, any sudden move in value could backfire badly. That's why every part of this plan focuses on strengthening first, from upgrading banks and building gold reserves to digitizing payments and tightening policies. When the dinar finally moves, Iraq wants it to stay strong, not just spike and crash. Simple. After years of rebuilding quietly, the progress is finally starting to show. Reports from global financial agencies and subtle updates from Iraq's own central bank hint that a major transformation is underway. Banks are upgrading their systems, e-payments are rolling out across the country, and anti-money laundering rules are being enforced harder than ever. Each of these steps may look minor on its own, but together they form the backbone of a currency ready to stand tall globally. This isn't about hype or rumors, it's about real groundwork being laid brick by brick. For those watching closely, all the little moves are starting to connect into a much bigger picture. One of the most important parts of Iraq's revaluation roadmap is its central bank reforms. Over the past year, Iraqi banks have been pushed to modernize their systems, connect internationally, and meet global standards. Without that, any currency adjustment would be chaos. The central bank has also been cleaning house, auditing accounts, closing down fake or inactive ones, and making sure transactions are transparent. These actions cut down on corruption and strengthen the system from within. It's all about making sure that when the dinar does eventually shift, it happens smoothly and sustainably. That slow, methodical approach is exactly what separates a successful revaluation from a risky one. Another big piece of the puzzle that people often miss is Iraq's reserve strategy. Behind the scenes, Iraq's been stacking gold and diversifying away from the dollar. This isn't just an accounting move, it's a long-term play for real stability. Strong reserves give the dinar tangible value backing it, and that's what gives a currency credibility worldwide. Without that backing, any rate change would be short-lived. By spreading its assets and balancing its reserves, Iraq is protecting both its currency and its economy. It's one of those quiet steps that doesn't make flashy headlines, but is absolutely essential for a lasting revaluation. Trade reforms are another massive factor driving this plan. Iraq has been moving away from old-school, cash-based oil deals and shifting toward digital settlements. That's a total game-changer because modern currencies have to work seamlessly in digital markets. By making this move, Iraq isn't just modernizing, it's future-proofing. Digital trade means faster transactions, cleaner records, and less room for corruption. And when exchange rates change, digital systems make the transition smoother and more transparent. Bit by bit, these upgrades are setting the stage for the dinar to stand confidently on the global stage. Now let us talk about the international side of this, because the IMF is quietly in the mix too. While Iraq's central bank runs the show publicly, the International Monetary Fund has been guiding things from the background. They never announce currency moves outright. But if you know how to read their reports, terms like monetary reform, economic alignment, and currency modernization start to tell a clear story. Those are NHE random phrases. They re-signals that Iraq's currency is being prepped for international integration. This collaboration shows how serious and structured Iraq's plan really is. It's not a guessing game. It's a step-by-step process with global oversight. So, what's actually happening right now? Step 1 was stabilizing prices and keeping inflation under control. Step 2, focused on cleaning up corruption in the banking system. Step 3, the one Iraq is deep in right now, is all about going digital, rolling out e-payments, new ATMs, and modern financial tech across the nation. Step 4 prepares the market with smaller currency notes for local adjustments. Finally, Step 5 will involve rate changes internally, followed later by international alignment. Each step is deliberate, timed, and designed to make the whole transition smooth. It's not about creating instant millionaires, it's about creating a balanced, healthy economy. A huge part of Iraq's preparation has been strengthening reserves, and this step can be overstated. By building up gold and diversifying foreign assets, Iraq is creating a financial cushion. This makes sure that when the dinar adjusts, it won't shake the economy. That's real value, not speculation. The more secure Iraq's reserves become, the more stable the dinar will be long-term. This isn't a flashy move, but it's one of the smartest and most necessary steps to protect the country's economic future. Trade and payment modernization are also at the heart of the plan. Iraq knows that a globally traded currency must operate digitally. By shifting oil contracts and other payments into electronic systems, the central bank is making sure future exchange rate changes can roll out quickly and cleanly. This is the kind of behind-the-scenes work that most people overlook, but it's what allows the dinar to integrate with global markets without chaos. These small technical upgrades are the real foundation of the entire revaluation plan. The international financial community is watching closely too. The IMF's quiet involvement and the technical testing happening in Western banks show that Iraq's reforms are part of something coordinated and serious. You won't see breaking headlines about this because public coverage could spark market volatility. But make no mistake, these system upgrades and test runs are signs that the world's banking networks are getting ready for something significant. While the mainstream news stays quiet, the groundwork is clearly being laid. And here's the interesting part. Iraq isn't the only one taking this route. Vietnam has been rolling out nearly identical reforms, modernizing banks, boosting reserves, and tightening compliance to international standards. They might not be directly coordinating, but the fact that both nations are modernizing at the same time hints at a bigger regional trend. If Iraq and Vietnam move forward within the same window, the ripple effect could reshape trade, oil, and currency dynamics across Asia and beyond. This looks less like coincidence and more like a shared strategy for modernization. So what's next? Most indicators suggest Iraq is wrapping up internal adjustments now. The next phase could involve testing new internal rates on government contracts, followed by updated budget numbers hinting at the new exchange rate. Eventually, that rate will connect to global trading systems. Each step builds logically on the last, reducing risks and smoothing out transitions. With Iraq now deep in the third phase, a public reveal could come sooner than people expect. The key is patience, because this process isn't random, it's calculated and deliberate. Let's dig deeper into digital modernization for a second. Iraq's transition to electronic banking and IBAN systems ESNT, just an upgraded a revolution in how money moves. In today's world, currencies must be able to flow digitally to compete globally. By setting up this system now, Iraq is making sure that when the revaluation hits, everything runs seamlessly. Without this kind of modernization, any new exchange rate would collapse under operational pressure. This digital push is one of the strongest signals that Iraq's plan is the real deal. We can't forget the importance of reserve management. By backing the dinar with gold and a diversified pool of assets, Iraq is building real strength behind the numbers. Too often, people underestimate how critical that is. Reserves are what give confidence to both investors and nations. Without them, any currency surge would be short-lived. Iraq's focused, measured buildup of assets is what makes this plan not just exciting, but sustainable for the long term. Inflation control has been another make-or-break point in this story. Iraq's leadership knows that sudden rate changes can create chaos if prices aren't stable. That's why inflation management and steady pricing have been top priorities. By keeping the economy balanced while making internal adjustments, Iraq is protecting its citizens and markets from shockwaves. This step-by-step pacing isn't slow, it's smart. It's how you build a stable economy that's ready for major financial shifts.